Alright, hey everybody. So, I'm gonna be playing some
Deployment check
Marathon
complete.
today. And just the PvE mode. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on this. So, I'm actually really excited that they're doing the PvE mode finally. Well, when they launched, I'm pretty sure that they had no plans for it. But as you know, the game's not doing too well right now, so I mean, if I was them, I'd be doing anything too. But I bought this game on sale. I played a couple matches online. I think I've done like four, and out of those four matches, two of the times I've been killed by other players. So, um, it's not a game you can just come in and half pay attention to, which are like some of my favorite games. You really, especially online, you got to pay attention. You got to be listening because it's like a sweat fest almost. But I just want to give my thoughts on it because I think that everyone should give this game a chance, especially if you didn't want the PvP, PvPvE aspect of it. The PvE is actually pretty fun, but I do have some notes on it, things that I think they should implement, and this is just, um, right now this is just like a test run, I would say, of the PvE. It's 2 weeks long, and then in September when Season 3 comes out, I think they're going to do a full PvE. Well, my first note is I think they should add PvE to every map. This map is a little hard, and I really have no idea what I'm doing in this one. But I think it would be cool if they added it to every map. Um, and that's just, I mean, maybe not all at once. Maybe they could rotate it in. Like this week, you'll do Marsh or Nightfall, and then the next week you'll do. I'm not too familiar with all the maps, but so I think that'd be a good idea. And then the second thing I would think of for them is, so right now the difficulty's locked at trio difficulty. So the enemies are harder and there's more of them because it's just assuming you do trios, which is fine. I don't have any friends that play this game though, so I do singles most of the time and I can do trios. But I think they should have like a scaler, where if you're doing singles, the difficulty maybe is a little easier, maybe a little less enemy spawns. Or maybe they give you some buffs or something if they want to keep the enemy spawns the same as trios and there's the same amount of enemies. But I think that'd be a good idea. I think it would be a lot more inviting to a lot more people. And then another thing I was thinking they could do is, if you're like me and you're new coming into this, you really have no idea what you're doing. So like in this video, I'm just kind of running around just trying to get security tags and stuff. So I think maybe if they did like a guided tour, kind of like what Black Ops did in Zombies for the Easter eggs for each map, or this map for instance, where they did a guided tour, maybe it's a little easier, and then you get the idea of what you need to do. You got to get the batteries, where to go to get security clearances, where to scan, and I mean maybe they just maybe it's just one vault or two vaults, but after that, you have a good idea of what to do from there, and it's easier, I would say. Getting started. And the fourth thing I would think to add for this is, so I like Arc Raiders. I didn't like Arc Raiders in the beginning, but my cousin talked me into getting it when it was on sale, and it's actually a really fun game. And my biggest issue with that was it was like PvPvE, and my first experience with PvPvE was Escape from Tarkov, and I sucked at it, and I still suck at it. So when Escape from Tarkov added the PvE mode, it was awesome. But I will admit that PvE can get boring, especially in Tarkov when you're just constantly collecting gear. But I'm not a big PvPvE guy. I don't have the time to, learn the ins and outs, and I wish I did, but I just don't. So that's why I really like PvE. But in Arc Raiders, what they do is they put you with players who, I'm going to say, like, have the same aggression level as you. So if you're killing people like every match, then they're gonna put you with people who are more into the PvP aspect. But if you don't kill people and you're just doing, your objectives or loot and stuff, they're gonna put you with players who are more focus on the PvE and the exploration of it, which is an awesome idea. And I don't know why. As far as I know, Marathon doesn't do that, and I don't know why, because I think it's just like a fantastic idea. It just makes so much sense. And I think it would make the game a lot more enjoyable for a lot more people if you did have an aggression type system in there, because So like I said, I think I played 4 rounds of online of Marathon, and 2 of those rounds I died. And I've never shot at anyone or killed like any other PV or actual players. I just like exploring and collecting loot and stuff. And in yeah, not Escape, Arc Raiders, I do the same thing. I mean, I probably, man, it's not a lot of hours. I'd say maybe like 12, 13, yeah, 12, let's say 12 to 20 hours in Arc Raiders. And in those 12 to 20 hours, I had been shot at once. And that was when me and my buddy were playing duos, and we ran to the exfil site, and some guy was, like, camping there, and he shot at us. So we just turned around and went to a different exfil site, but that was the only time I've ever had an instant like that. And Arc Raiders is really good. You know, every time you run into someone, they have the proximity chat, and I feel like in Arc Raiders, people are less likely to fire first, and um, in Marathon, the mentality is like fire first. So I think that would help, as if they had that system where it kind of puts you with people of the same aggression level, I'll say. And I mean that's about it. So I'm really enjoying the PvE right now. I mean I'm playing. Well, it came out yesterday. I probably played like 10 full rounds. So I'm just really, I'm having a good time with it, and I think more people should really just give it a try. I know Marathon has had a rocky launch, and you know, news coming out of Bungie recently is not too great with them stopping Destiny 2 updates, and I mean, I think that's kind of just going into like a maintenance mode, or maybe they don't even have anyone working on it anymore to maintain it. But I mean, they put all their chips on this game, and you look at the Steam charts, and it had the little upgrade when they introduced PvE. I think it peaked at like 14,000. But I mean, that's a far cry, right, from their 88,000 peak. And they just kind of came in at a bad time, I think. You know, you have Escape from Tarkov. It's obviously a really big PvE game, and that's been around for years. I mean, they have their very loyal fans that aren't really going to go anywhere. And then you had Arc Raiders come out, and I would say Arc Raiders was kind of a smash hit too. And I wasn't going to get Arc Raiders because of the same thing. They're going to have a... I don't know if they were going to do a solo mode or if it was supposed to be a PvE game to begin with, but then they decided to scrap that. And it was like, but I mean, I'm glad I gave it a chance, and I'm glad that I'm giving Marathon a chance again. And I've seen a lot of people say, you know, if they implemented this PvE mode, it might give people the confidence to do the PvE because they'll know, like, what to do. And I can see that. I probably won't do it just because I don't, like I said, I don't enjoy the PvP aspect of it. But I mean, it's a fun game to just spend, like, you know, an hour or two every night just doing a PvE and just, you know, running around, learning the maps, you know, just messing around, really. I think Marathon has kind of gotten a bad rap. Especially, you know, in the early stages with the plagiarism and stuff. But I really like the art style. Gunplay handles awesome, I think. And it's just, it's a fun game. I wish it had a single player, like the original Marathons, but I'm hoping that if this is, like, what they're going to do from now on, if they're not going to make a Destiny 3, which I don't think there's anything in the pipeline for, if this is what they want to put their, you know, chips on, then maybe with Marathon 2, I mean, maybe you can do, like well, you know, Destiny 2 had a story mode. It was online still, and it was, you know, but it still had the story. So maybe you could do that, because I think Marathon has really interesting lore, and I mean, I really like to learn the story. In fact, I think I'm going to go get the 3 original games, they're free on Steam. I think I'm going to go get those and try those, just because, you know, it just is a really interesting game. And yeah, those are my thoughts about the game right now. I'm having a good time with PvE. I'm going to miss it in 2 weeks, but I'm really hoping that they listen to the community feedback, and when it comes back in Season 3, which I believe is September, I hope it comes back stronger, and, you know, they can just really hit a home run here, I guess. Because, like I said, I think, you know, they had a very rocky start, and I don't think the game has really gotten its... I think it's... I mean, the criticism it received in the beginning, I'd say was valid, but it hasn't really recovered from that, I would say. And I think the direction they're going in now, they deserve, you know, to recover just maybe a little bit, not everything, but a little bit. And I think, you know, when it launched, it left a bad taste in people's mouths, and you know, people just don't want to give it a chance. And to be fair, you know, it's hard to recommend this game for full price. Like, I would never bought it if I didn't get it on sale, and it's the same thing with Arc Raiders. But, you know, they did the free weekend a couple weeks ago, and I think that's what they should do once this PvE mode launch, you know. Well, maybe even they could do it this weekend, and then next weekend before it goes off again. But maybe in September they could do a free week where it's, you know, people can see, you know, what the game is all about, PvE-wise. Because I think there is... I think it's a niche market, either way you look at it, right? Because the PvE, I'd say, is like, you know, it's a niche market, and I would say there's not a whole lot of room in there for a new game like Marathon. You know, because like I said, Escape from Tarkov is really... That's the main one, and then I feel like Arc Raiders kind of came in, and they, you know, got the rest of the fans, and then Marathon is... They got the scraps. But I think it's a really good game, and I think if Sony, you know, decides to scrap this, I think I'm gonna miss it. And I think, you know, more people should just give it a try. You know, I'm not saying go buy it, but I think if it's on sale, or, you know, if they have the free weekend, I think you should just, you know, give it a try and see. And, yeah. So those are my thoughts on Marathon so far. I'm having a really good time with it. But, yeah, I just wanted to let other people know, you know, I think PvE was... A lot of people were interested in that, so yeah, hopefully, you know, you guys maybe learned something or you want to give it a try, but yeah, thanks for watching.